Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. It is, what is it, June 27th. Wow, right in the middle of the summer already, huh? We got some news. I mean, we got NBA news. We've got NBA Top Shot news a little bit, I think. NBA draft news. But, today's a day where we could just kind of all come together and hang out for a bit. And I also have Mike Weisberg. I see him now in the green room. So we can talk to Mike a little bit and let's just hang out for an hour and have a nice old time. Why don't we? Yeah, let me know in the chat if there's anything that you want to talk about. But we can start with NBA Top Shot. I noticed actually that the homepage changed today. Changed slightly. There's a offering right now of the team packs are back. I'm going to make like a little video about that. Hello, Jordan. Nice to see you, sir. The three kids are wild as ever in Jordan's profile picture. But yeah, you got the team packs. Team packs, it's a small buy-in type of deal where you have a little bit of a chance to get something. It's good for new collectors, good for collectors who just want teams, who just want moments of their favorite teams, let's say. And you even got this fancy green text right there. So the other thing that we got going on NBA Top Shot is this Brandon Podziemski promotion where you can win his autographed sneakers. Okay. His autographed sneakers that he actually wore. So if you're into that, you can win those sneakers. You can even give him a couple sniffs if you're really into that. And you can also win his 1 of 1. So these are both burning leaderboards. We love to see burning leaderboards. And of course, we also see the best team in the NBA is still nice front and center on the NBA Top Shot homepage. But we do have Mike Weisberg, who is ready to go. So let's give him a little intro.
We love the community.
Hello, Mike.
Let's go.
The curse of Mike on Tandy Time has been lifted. I very carefully did not invite you back onto the show while the Celtics were
that was a mutual agreement by us. That wasn't a you call. That was I literally went to you, shot you a DM, and I was like, no, we are not doing this.
I know. It was quite strange, though.
And we are, for the benefit of the community, not going to do this. So, yeah.
It was strange, though. I mean, literally every time you showed up on stream, the Celtics would have just like a shocking loss. All right, I think we're going to stop.
Well, to be fair, they do have the 54th pick, so they may draft Bronny James. Could be a whole whole thing shortly.
Can,
We'll see.
can you imagine?
Mm.
I like how some people in Vegas were betting Bronny James in the #1 pick. That was hilarious.
It was a ballsy move. Good way to
Yeah.
burn money. And by the way, Tandy,
Yeah.
it's Brandon Pajemski.
All
The
right.
Z is silent. Or if you really want to, get with the kids, just call them
Yeah.
Pods.
Okay. Pods, like those pods.
People
we
just
used
call
to
them
eat.
Pods. Be Pods.
Bee
Most people
pods,
call them Pods.
like what are those pods we used to eat with the laundry soap in them?
Or when you would play Pogs as kids. I don't know if you played any Pogs.
Mike, those were called Pogs with a G.
Yeah, POG. I know. Not
So why'd you
laundry
call them pods?
Yes.
iPods. Yeah, iPods. I had an iPod.
Hey, look, I had multiple iPods actually. I had one stolen from my car back in the day. It's tough.
I got
It
an
was
iPod stolen too.
I had a 256 gig iPod and it got
Wow.
stolen. I was very mad. I had my entire music collection on there.
Yeah, those were
Great.
tough days.
Mhm.
So yeah, anyway, Celtics are world champions. How did you
Yeah.
celebrate, Mike?
So it's kind of funny. So I was on muscle relaxers because I'm still dealing with a sprained hip. So my
What happened to your hip,
is
Mike?
nothing like serious. I was working out and I felt some like when you're on the it's not the rowing machine, but the machine where you're kind of on your back and you're like pushing forward with your legs.
On your back, pushing forward.
so
Yeah,
you
it's like a leg press where you're pushing
yeah,
the
leg
weight
press.
forward. Yeah.
And I just felt my hip tweak a little bit. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's weird. Didn't think anything of it. And then like a couple days later, it just was incredibly sore. So I just finished the 3-week regimen, but during the finals, I was on them, so it took a little bit, but I ended up going on to the dunker spot, and I was very nice on the dunker spot. Like I was very polite, and then Steve Jones Jr. was like, "Yo, Weisberg, you've been waiting all year to cook people. Fucking cook." So what I did is they threw on Meet the Grams, the
Oh my God.
Kendrick disc,
Yeah.
and I just went in on like every team for
That's
10 minutes
awesome.
straight. Went in on the Heat, hi Stan. Went in on the Sixers. Went in on Warriors fans just because. Fuck them for 22. Yeah, it was great. I was so happy, man. It was, and Steve was like not just encouraging me, but like adding on a little bit. He just name a team, and I would go off on the team. Can I give you a quickie hot take, Tandy?
Go ahead.
On that
Give me
same front.
Give me the hot
And
take.
we're going to jump into the full recounting of the Celtics winning the title. But I do think this is very funny to me. The whole conversation about Jason Tatum, not being a top 5 player. Can we just put that to bed? For one. And two, the idea that we're putting someone like Joel Embiid in a top 5 when the guy can barely play 50 games a year and can't get out of the second round. You're not top 5 if you can't get out of the second round.
That's very true.
I'm sorry. I know we won an MVP. But if you can't get out of the second round, what are we doing? I thought winning mattered here.
I think you're right. He's also so injury prone, Embiid. I mean, when he's healthy, and during the regular season, he can be an absolute animal, an absolute beast. But yeah, you get it done in the playoffs. You have not gotten it done in the playoffs. And
look, I think take culture is generally pretty toxic as like a broad-based continuum. And Luke is going to get a lot of the same treatment that Tatum has gotten over the last couple of years. You're already starting to see it a little bit.
Yep.
But that said, I do think for when we talk league wide, Philly's in a weird spot. It seems like Paul George is not super into going to Philly based on his public comments on the podcast, saying that he is aware that James Harden called Daryl Morey a liar. Not great. And they have like $55 million to spend in cap. Who are they going to spend it on?
I'm pretty sure money talks. I mean, if they throw a bag at him, he'll be there.
I mean, I think multiple teams are throwing a bag at Paul George. I think that's part of the conversation. He's going to get a 4-year max from someone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's going to get a true 4-year max, which will probably be somewhere around like 4 for 200.
Right.
But I just think Philly's in a really bad place because most of the major free agents that are available are now kind of B tier free agents with OG re-signing with the Knicks. And now Philly's in a spot where, like, who are you going to pair around and beat next?
Right. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, we're good. We don't need to go in there.
It's for the Heat fans.
For the Heat
You
fans?
suck. Your Twitter account sucks too.
It's fine that Jimmy wants to stay with an aging team and an aging core. It's really okay. Like,
What kind of hairstyle are you going to choose next?
I love the idea that Heat fans think that Heat culture is going to win the day, when the reality is your team's a fucking 8th seed. Get the fuck out of here. Like, what are we doing when Heat culture, A, can't stay healthy, and B, wins what, like 45 games? Congratulations to your culture. It sucks.
Yeah.
You can go with other teams.
Heat culture
it's
sucks.
fine. We can talk
Heat culture
Lakers.
sucks. Heat culture sucks. Heat culture sucks.
Heat culture sucks. It's true. I mean, we can go with other teams. We can go with the Lakers. Congratulations to the Lakers on getting JJ Redick. Really excited for them. You know, they get another average white coach who's going to get fired in 2 years. It's great.
Pretty much.
JJ saying that he doesn't give a fuck about how people feel about him. Come on, buddy. Come on. You literally responded to Shams in an interview. Like, what are we doing?
You know
I
what?
love you, buddy. And your podcast company is doing big things, doing big numbers.
I think, you know what though, Mike? I think honestly, I think everyone makes a big deal about coaching. I think coaching is way overblown, to be honest.
Oh, I disagree on that.
Okay, we can agree to disagree. But I think the players on the court,
coaching matters on a night-to-night basis. Coaching really, really matters in end of game situations. Now, look, there is a coin flip reality to that, where, like, on some level, it's like, oh, he missed a shot, he made a shot, right? Like, you know, if you make a big shot at the end of a game, you're not a great clutch player, but you make it, oh my God, you're incredible. And some of that's mindset, but a lot of that can be coaching. You know,
here's where I think coaching does make a big deal. I think it makes a big deal. Obviously, yes, if you make the perfect inbounds pass, inbounds play at the end of the game, that's coaching, right? But I think a big part of coaching also is like the emotional side of it, about like, do your players actually respect the coach? So that's what, to me, that's what it's more about. Can he? Because I remember talking about this with Big Shug, and like all these guys are like multi-hundreds of millionaire, you know, young adults. Like they're not just gonna take whatever you say because you're the coach. Like they need to truly respect you and buy in. I think because Joe Mazzulla is such a psycho, he like got everyone to buy in.
Well, on the human part of that, Xavier Tillman talked about this during the finals, and I really haven't talked much finals. But Xavier Tillman talked about this before Game 5, that Joe's a very different coach in that he focuses more on the personal than the basketball. And Tillman said, like, it's a very different approach than what he's dealt with in the past. Mm-hmm. And he's been in the league for, 5-6 years. I don't feel like that was a shot at Taylor Jenkins, more a credit to Joe's approach and to that fact. Before Game 5, he went to every single player in the roster and told them, hey, like, here's how you've contributed to the team this year. Here's why you matter to what we've done this year. Everyone from Jason Tatum to JD Davidson.
Right.
And, well, I think some of the rah-rah shit can be a little overrated. Actually having a real relationship with your guys matters. Having them trust you and have an understanding. That stuff matters from a air horn on a coaching level. It really makes an impact. I did notice, by the way, Celtics did hire God Shamgod's kid as a player development coach.
I saw that. That's
very
cool.
Exciting.
Yeah.
But on the finals in general, Tandy, how did you feel as a Celtics fan?
I felt like there was very little anxiety as a Celtics fan, which is strange for like a Boston sports fan. Very little anxiety felt. Although there was some sick part of my brain when like the Mavs cut it from like 24 to 21 with like 3 minutes left. I'm like, no, But I mean,
Yeah.
overall, and of course, like when we dropped the game to Dallas, you start to get a little nervous. Like, well, what if they can put 2 in a row? But by and large, it was domination, and it's why the rest of the fans of the NBA were like, "Oh, this finals has no aura." And I feel like I need to play a little song for them as well. Here we go. This is for all like the NBA fans on Twitter, who are like crying about the Celtics. Oh, this is the most boring Celtics. This is the most boring team. Oh, this is the most boring finals. No aura. It's like, bro, sorry that the Celtics were so dominant, because that's all it was. You're watching an absolutely dominant team on both sides of the ball, a coach that really came into his own, just complete domination. It doesn't matter what team you threw at the Celtics, they were going to smoke you. I don't care who it was.
I think Denver actually would have been a fun matchup.
Denver would have been a better matchup. I don't disagree with you, but I'm still confident the Celtics would have won all year long. They're the best team.
They were not only the best team, they're the most dominant team. They had the most 20-point wins ever. They had the most 30-point wins ever. They had one of the highest net ratings in NBA history. They statistically were the most efficient offense in NBA history. Like,
I know.
They just
across the board.
They did all of, like, the math works. And as to the Mavs part of the matchup, it became very clear to me, like, I would have rather played the Mavs than the Timberwolves. Matchups matter in this sport more than anything else.
That's one thing JJ Redick is exactly right.
And it's one of these things where when I looked at the Mavs, I was like, oh yeah, I would play the Mavs 10 times out of 10. They can't match up. I'll let Luka eat, turn off the water on Kyrie, and play the corners.
Exactly.
And here's the thing, Jeb. I'll call you out directly here. Well, we're going to talk about Tatum in a second. I don't know how you can call 30, 10, and 7 disappointment. Like, that's kind of crazy. But that said, there's a couple parts of the Mavs matchup that I thought were interesting. One, in the playoffs overall, team shot 23% on corner threes. 23% against Celtics. And that's all the Mavs did. So, like, they got a bulk of their offense from Kyrie and Luka, and then they made corner threes. That's how they got to the finals. Well, if you shut off the corner threes, you just let Luka score, and that's exactly what they did.
Yep.
And you knew you were going to drop a game because Luka was going to go nuclear. You know, like, that's the way that this works. As for the Tatum stuff, it's so funny, Dandy. Like,
Mike, I can't believe he holds his trophy almost like Kobe held him. Oh my god, dude, he's so corny, bro. I can't believe he screamed out, "Yes, we did it" when he won, dude. How corny can you be to scream out, "We did it"?
You know what's crazy about that is that guy is as good of a athlete as we've seen in sport. Good dude, good dad, never done anything wrong off the court. People were like, but he's fucking boring. Yeah. So fuck that guy. He's not Anthony Edwards, guys. Sorry. He's not going to give you that personality.
Show me the vid. Show me the vid.
Right? Like, I'm sorry you think he has negative aura. You know what? He may not have the same aura that you fucking want, but you know what he has? Playoff wins, and he scores more than any other player in NBA history at his age, ever. His over 2,700 points in the playoffs before the age of 27. You know how insane that is, Tandy? Like, right now, Jason Tatum is top 40 in 3-point makes and in points.
That's a lot of supply. That's a lot of supply of points.
Oh. A lot of supply. Lot of 40Ks, you know? We might even get to a 60K at some point.
Jeb is still throwing shade, Mike. He's not impressed. He says that's not insane.
When you consider all the context. Oh, the fact that he's been in the playoffs every year and continues to win? Weird. You know who doesn't continue to win? The Los Angeles Lakers, Jeb. Congratulations. Enjoy being a 10 seed in LA. You know, it's fine on the JT front. And look, I'm really happy for JB. I thought he really elevated his game. And the funny thing about the JT JB conversation, and Tandy, you can tell me if you feel differently, but it's like, Did Jalen have a better playoffs in terms of like raising his game? Sure. But he doesn't do the same things that JT does. And what I mean by that, Tandy, is like Jaylen Brown can't handle 40 doubles a game. Sorry. It's not his game. His handle can't handle that, for lack of a better term. He's just not a good enough playmaker. And that's what Tatum does. He's an elite playmaker. He scores it at a good enough rate. The efficiency was dog shit these playoffs, and they still won the title. Imagine if he plays with better efficiency, or shoots with better efficiency, I should say. What, we're going to go back to back? That's going to be great. I'm really going to enjoy all the haters saying negative aura when you got 2 titles. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm feeling pretty confident in the Celtics right now, considering almost the entire team is coming right back. I mean, we're not losing any key members. We're not losing any like sort of surprisingly key members, like some
Shireman last night.
Say it one more time. What?
They drafted Baylor Shireman last night.
Right. Is he even going to see the court though? I don't know if he will, but
so he's basically the Sam Hauser replacement. Yeah. I have questions about his defense, but offensively, he was fantastic. He's one of the most efficient shooters in the NCAA last year, averaged over 10 boards a game. Like it's funny you were talking about Brandon Podziemski in the Open. Kevin O'Connor called him like a bigger Brandon Podziemski. So like he can shoot, he can rebound at a high rate. He's not as good of a defender as Hauser is at this point. But he's almost certainly going to be the Hauser replacement in a year when Hauser hits free agency. So while he may be spending a lot of time in Maine, he's certainly going to see minutes in the all white boy lineup that may be happening on the backside of this bench between Pritchard, Hauser, Shireman, Cornette, maybe Porzingis when he comes back in December.
Yeah. Well, he deserves to get healed and get better. It's pretty surprising too, by the way, that the number 1 and 2 picks are both Frenchmen.
Yeah. And 6.
Unbelievable. What's going on in the bread and cheese of France that all the best players are French?
Well, for one, generally a pretty weak draft. I feel bad for Zachary Richer. He's in a really tough spot with that organization. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with DeJounte and Trey in this offseason, but if they run it back with those guys, like, where are his minutes coming from? You know? And then you have the pressure of being the number 1 pick. Like, Richer is an incredible prospect, but, like, this draft was pretty flat, 1 to 7. You know, you could take any of those guys in the top 7 and put them with the number 1 pick, and I don't think anyone would really argue with you, except for the guy that Pistons took at 5. That's a little excessive. You probably would have had some issues there. By the way, round 2 is going on. Jonathan Mogbo from USF just went to the Raptors, and Cal Popowski from Duke. Shocker, Utah drafts a tall white guy.
They like those guys.
Hey, I would have preferred Popowski over Shireman personally to give them a backup big when Al retires. But it's all relative. Yeah, as far as the remainder of the draft, what I would say is, well, quickly on the French front, they're just producing incredible players. Like, that league has produced 7 NBA players in the last 2 drafts. Because you had Koulibaly went top 10 last year, and Wemby, obviously. And now you have 3 in the top 6. And they had another Frenchman late in the draft last year, I believe, too. So they're just cooking. And that French team is going to be very, very good in the Olympics.
That's true. That'll be fun.
They're going to have roughly like 12 to 14 NBA players on that team.
You're going to have tough out.
You're going to have Wemby and Gobert and Koulibaly. Like, and Koulibaly's length is incredible. That guy's like 6'9", but he's got like a 7'5" wingspan. Like, they're just going to have length across the board in an international play where you can offensive goaltend.
Yeah.
So, like, and defensively, there's no 3 in the key.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's gonna get dicey with the French. As for the remainder of the draft, how do you feel about the draft last night? Did you watch any of it?
I did not watch any of it. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about the draft this year, honestly. I wasn't really dialed in whatsoever. I'm just a very casual draft watcher who watches Stephen A. Smith talk about Bronny James. That's about it.
You
So
should see you should see a photo of Reed Shepard. That man looks like an insurance adjuster. Now, he is an insurance adjuster who can literally shoot from anywhere. He's the guy the Rockets took at 3. He's
Mhm.
6'1" point guard from Kentucky. First American born. If he had gone 1, he would have been the first American born white player to be drafted number 1 since the 70s.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, and Atlanta was considering taking him 1 over
Hmm.
Arish. But yeah, Shepard's awesome. He's going to be a fantastic pro. I really like what San Antonio did in taking Stephen Castle and then trading out of 8. Minnesota, obviously, in acquiring Rob Dillingham, and also getting at 27 Terrence Shannon Jr. They're pretty loaded. I'm excited for kind of what they did as far as winners. There were some big losers for me last night, Tandy. I'll say this: I don't really understand. I don't really understand Ron Holland at 5. I think Detroit could have gone back further and gotten him at 9. He was formerly the number 1 player in the class, really, really good, hyper athletic guy, can't shoot, and had an awful year with the G League Ignite, which was so bad this year, Tandy. They literally shut the program down. The G League Ignite team is no longer because that team was so fucking bad.
Hmm.
And then other than Holland at 5, I didn't love Saloon, the French kid at 6, although some people call him Baby Honest. That's his nickname. Other than that, love Dalton Connect at 17. He's going to be awesome for the Lakers. He was like a top 10 prospect who fell down to 17 due to the fact that he's 23. Nuggets moving up for Deron Holmes. We'll see how the Nuggets do. I don't know, Tandy, real quick, if you saw
Yeah.
what Nuggets GM said last night,
No, I did not see what he said. What did he say?
he basically called Kentavious Caldwell Pope a number 5. Like, basically said that he's the 5th best player on our team. We're not really worried about whether or not we'll be able to re-sign him. And it's like, KCP is an elite defender, and the idea that their GM is basically being like, yeah, we're good, we don't even need this guy, is a little troubling when you look at Denver in the big picture.
He should leave.
And I think he's leaving. I think he's going to get a monster 4-year deal, probably somewhere around like 4 for 180. I don't think he gets full max. But
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about, by the way?
yeah,
We didn't talk about the Knicks. The Knicks just traded their whole team away from Mikal Bridges.
Well, they didn't
And
trade the whole team away. They traded 5 draft picks.
that's what I'm just overreacting.
Yes,
they traded their future away basically for
Not really,
Mikal
though.
Bridges. No?
No, they still
How
have
many
tons
draft
of
picks?
draft picks. They have as many draft picks as the Warriors have in the future. Like,
Okay.
they're in a great shape in terms of additional capital to spend if they want to go acquire someone else.
Well, they
The
got OG,
problem for
right?
them is what's that?
They got OG now, too.
Yeah, they re-signed OG for less than the max, which I found to be interesting. So they re-signed him for 5 for 212. His max was 5 for 245, but they gave him a player option and a trade kicker. And the reason why that's important is, one, at some point in the future, at the end of that 4-year period, he'll be able to potentially renegotiate and get another extension. Given his age, that's important because he's 30. And the NBA has something called the over 38 rule, which basically means that like the average NBA player has more or less like 3 to 4 big contracts that you sign if you're an elite guy. He's on his 3rd contract. So once he hits 34, the max you can do is 4 years. You're not going to be able to do 5. So he can use that player option and get a true 4-year max. So he can make another 200 million in theory by doing it this way. And the other thing that's important is the trade kicker. We don't know what the number is on the trade kicker, but the team has to pay that as basically an exit fee. So let's say the trade kicker is like 10%, right? On a $50 million contract, that's $5 million he gets just by being traded. So for him, despite taking less than the max, he's set himself up long-term, A, to contend, and B, if things don't work out, he can get dealt somewhere else and still make close to max money. So good business by OG and CAA to get that thing done. And obviously, he's a CAA client. Leon Rose used to work at CAA. Doesn't take much to put the pieces together. So they're able to get that done pretty quickly. On the Knicks, on the whole, Chandy, I don't know if you feel how I feel. Like, I think they're going to be really good. They're certainly the second best team in the East right now. But, like, they're not better than the Celtics right now.
That's how I feel too. They're not better than the Celtics. I mean, you can make a case that they're. I mean, I think Milwaukee might debate you there that they're the second best team in the East, but they could be very close to it.
I mean, it isn't part of the issue with Milwaukee. One, Giannis potentially staying healthy, and two, I don't know if you saw Doc Rivers on Bill Simmons a few weeks ago, literally saying out loud that Damian Lillard did not come into camp healthy.
Oof.
Because
Doc is always just throwing out excuses.
Well, here's the thing. Doc said, and this is an exact quote. Yeah, look, Dame told me he didn't come into camp healthy. And, because he was worried about his trade value. He didn't want to get hurt. So, it just kind of was what it was. We'll be fine. But, he's going to come into camp fully healthy. Why would you let people know that? Why would you tell people that your best or second best player, depending on how you feel about Dame, didn't come into camp healthy and was out of shape? Doc, what are you doing? Why are you divulging personal conversations?
Anything to take whatever pressure off. To take pressure off of him. That's all Doc Rivers does. Just takes whatever pressure he can off himself.
Unbelievable. What an asshole. A QA expert. They probably do need to trade Randall. I just don't know what the options are. I've thrown out some ideas. Like, I think Andrew Wiggins could be an interesting solution for them. The money works, but it's not ideal in terms of, like, he's another wing that can help, but then you're small at the 5. It seems like they're still trying to re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein, but that's going to be very, very difficult money-wise to make it work under the cap. They desperately don't want to be a second apron team, but they're likely going to be.
So we got a Top Shot homepage update again. Second time, well, today, but WNBA. I know, WNBA Top Shot. So there you go. WNBA. This looks like we got a pack announcement for the WNBA. Metallic gold, 99 metallic gold, and quick rip for $3. That's pretty cheap for a quick rip. I've never seen it that low.
Hey, Danny, not to jump into your business at all, but how do you feel about where Top Shot is generally right now? I know you are a valued community member.
Oh, yes.
Who technically does do, like, endorsement stuff with them.
Yeah.
But, like, where do you feel Top Shot is in the moment? We've been in this business for 5 years. The contract's coming up in the next 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's certainly the assumption because they said by the end of the decade. And I think the other part of the conversation is they just had the settlement they got announced. Where you're going to get 12 cents per moment, guys. Congratulations at your official valuation of your moments. How do you feel like not just the vibes, but like broadly where we are? And by the way, we as Matic Auto notes, we're still in beta. And by the way, some of our sister platforms, like we're pretty heavy on, you guys know I'm pretty heavy on Playback. They've been out of beta and they just added like literally super chats. Like they're adding features all the time. I don't really know where we are with Top Shot that they still haven't gotten out of beta yet.
Well, so I think that there's a few ways to talk about this. If they're, as far as like, are they adding features? They are adding features as far as I can tell. I mean, they are adding, I know that what they said most recently is they want to introduce features around like your collection. So there was something new that they added, which was around like a feed of your activity. If you go to your overview, it can show your activity. So that was something that was new. I was told that there's some other new thing coming up that's like related to pinned moments or stickers or something like that. So that's something that's going to be coming along as well. So I wouldn't say that they're just like sitting on their heels or whatever however that saying goes. But the way that I think Top Shop's doing right now is I feel like they're pretty much they're just like somewhere in the middle. They're like building, they're not making any huge mistakes or any like,
You don't
big
think the
errors.
finals packs pricing was a mistake?
So that's an interesting one actually, because the finals pack pricing, when you see what those price of the moments are on the marketplace, were high, because you can see what people were selling those moments for. But there's a couple things I would want to ask. Number one is, were there people getting airdrops or VIPs getting those packs at like a cheaper rate? That's my first question. Because whenever that happens, that will obviously very much affect the pricing of what people put those at, right? That'll be my first question. But I think I think the second issue though too is like, I mean, first of all, at the end of the day, it's on the user base to decide how much is too much. First of all, like we can't although I think that there is an element, which is like, I've said it in the past a long time ago, which is like, you have to be custodians of your community. But if the community thinks that they want to gamble because they think that they can get a special cereal, or they think that they can hit 2 legendaries in a pack, if there's people out there that want to do that, then that's like up to them, right? I mean, I would have liked it more if everyone could have gotten just these easy wins if these packs were priced in half. But if they're gonna price them the way they do and everyone's still drooling all over them, then what are you supposed to
Pack
do in that
price
situation?
was $700 or $800, right?
Yeah,
$799.
Mm-hmm.
There are only 2 moments that are
As
above
of
pack
right now,
price.
right?
Luke and Tatum. That's it.
Yeah. So in hindsight, it was high, but then why are they selling out immediately? Why are they
Because
getting
they're only selling
oversubscribed?
200.
Right.
It's not hard to get 200 suckers to buy something.
Mm-hmm. Well, then I need to
mean,
get
like let's call a spade a spade.
Mhm.
Like, you can say you sold out, but when you sell out to 200 people who on some level they're gambling. Some of them are reselling them on the marketplace. Like, you look at the packs. Let's see. Let me see what they're selling for on the marketplace.
The pack itself.
They're selling for $750. So they're selling
Right.
below the ask.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen that on a legendary or rare pack. So that alone tells you that the price point was high. I mean, obviously, you look at what the moments are in the marketplace. That makes a huge difference. So yeah, I don't think it's like rocket science to say the price point was high.
And 52 are for sale. So just to put this in a broader perspective, a quarter of the packs,
Yeah,
people are trying to resell at a loss.
yeah. Well, because they thought that, like other legendary packs, they might be able to make a few $100 on it.
So yeah, it's, to me, I think the frustration level with where Dapper and Top Shot are. And look, this is kind of a broader conversation. I think they're stagnant. And I think I love Jacob. Jacob's awesome. But I think he's dealing with a executive team that's pretty much been the same executive team since CryptoKitties. Like, Roham has surrounded himself with, frankly, a bunch of people who have been with him for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And have basically survived multiple layoffs and have put this product that I think can be really great in a really difficult spot.
So then let's talk about solutions, Mike. What do you want to see done?
Yes.
What,
You I mean,
what do
look,
you want to see different?
I think generally pack prices have to be lower. I think Dapper's trying to get enough revenue to probably meet their, because there's an expectation level on what they need to give to the NBA directly. You have like an expected minimum level of funding. So that's where like there's a push and pull on pack pricing, because that's the only way the Dapper's really making money, right? They're basically only making money on packs. And I'd love for the fast break product to have more of an emphasis on Top Shot debuts, because there's been such an emphasis on rares and legendaries.
Yep.
In that product. I think debuts should have a little bit of buzz to them, and maybe there's a way that you can do that. Maybe you can get like a slightly higher percentage points. Like what So Rare does is they'll give you a slightly higher collection score by owning the rookie moment and being the only owner of that rookie moment. So your percentages can be a little bit higher. In other words, your ability to score more points if you own the entire team and if you are the only owner of that particular card. And so that'd be cool. Like, hey, I'm the only person that has owned this Asia Wilson Top Shot debut. I'm going to use it in Fast Break today, but I get an extra like 2% bump because I'm the only one that's owned it. I think those kind of gamification metrics would be, I think, helpful.
I think that we already know
raise the floor certain products.
Sure, we know that there is the capacity and possibility of being able to do custom fast break, like different fast break games. It can be focused on things like Top Shot debuts. It can be focused on things like particular teams or particular fans of teams or particular groups. I think there's a lot of opportunities there. So I'm really curious how they use that next series. And I hope that they really do lean into it super hardcore, honestly. I talked about this, I think 2 weeks ago, which is like there's all these NBA and basketball communities. All those communities could be playing their own version of like a fast break game. So that alone, I think, is big. And obviously with all the resources that they put into creating fast break and making it as nice as it is, they should really be leaning into that. So yeah, I just think
what selections do you have, Tandy? You're way more locked in to the product than I am. Full disclosure, like
sure,
as Boone says, I'm definitely more locked in on the So Rare side than on the Top Shot side. Not so that I haven't bought packs. I bought a couple. Like I bought the MGLE, one of the MGLE drops. I ended up getting a not ideal MGLE, but it is what it is. But yeah, how do you like, one, how do you feel about the product, and two, what do you feel like the solutions are? I'm gonna let you cook for a second because I gotta grab something. I'm gonna go off cam for a moment, but
go ahead.
Cook for a second.
Sure, I'll cook. No, it's true. Stan says I'm paid. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm not paid much, so it's not like I can't give you an honest take. But it is true that obviously I make content around Top Shot, and I want to see Top Shot succeed. I'm not going to get on here and start ripping it. You know, I think that I do think that Fast Break has a lot of legs. I do think that the pack prices. So the finals pack price, as we just saw, like if we want to talk about that, it was high. But at the same time, I just think it's tricky when there's enough demand that it sells out. And so, and it's even if it's a quarter of speculators, right? Speculators are buying these things to try to sell them for more. I mean, so be it. If the product costs a certain amount of money and speculators are tripping over themselves to buy it to try to flip it for more, then so be it. I mean, that's like the free market. That's what I think is nice about having the pack marketplace. So in this situation, if the speculators bought them and can't resell them for more, then that's just what happened. But I think that's definitely a positive thing. And otherwise, I said it already like a couple weeks ago. I definitely think that they need to get more, I guess, dialed in on marketing and use Fast Break in those marketing attempts. Because I really like a sort of a smaller but wider marketing approach where you find a lot of different groups of people. And even though Stan said that there's 100-person limit, I would definitely want to see that increase, because 100 people is just not enough, especially when you think about some of these other groups of people. Like even if you go look at Watch Playback, for example, and you see some of these channels, have like thousands of people in them. So I would want Fast Break to be able to handle thousands of people. And I just think that Fast Break is a really good introduction to NBA Top Shot. It can be a very cheap and affordable introduction into NBA Top Shot. And I think, like, I see Weisberg chewing, so I'm gonna let him chew off camera. But like when you have a way to introduce a bunch of people into a game and it only costs them a few bucks to play, like that to me makes a lot of sense. And you can use that marketing money too that you may have spent elsewhere and add that to like a prize pool. And so, in my opinion, that makes the most sense. And that's what I want to see Top Shot focus in on the most for next series, which is just like really dialing into the marketing side of things. So, and I know that when we had Jacob on, that's what he said he wants to do. I also want to see them improve upon the sort of just the collectible side of things. I mean, even talking about like when I was thinking about it, having like pinned moments is kind of special. Like if you have certain moments that really mean something to you and that you like loading up your profile. And, you know, I load up my profile. I get to watch Derek White with that putback against Stan Love's Heat in the playoffs. And I just remember that being a really special moment, you know, and like other moments that really stand out to me are when like Jason Tatum did the kind of like turnaround layup to beat the Nets. And then this series, of course, is going to have a lot of fun memories as well as Celtics fans. And so like when the hype has died off a little bit, I'll probably go look and pick up some of those fandom moments and choose some of my favorite moments, because those are the moments that I literally like to rewatch and rewatch and rewatch. And I think that is where the most special part of having NBA Top Shot moments is. It's not really about the speculative side. Like that's where all this stuff started. But I think that we still need that, of course, just like the physical card side needs this. But that's the thing that I think is really interesting and fun, is having moments that you truly do enjoy. And that's the whole point of having moments that are on video, that are video format, is you get to go watch these clips again later on. And I think that is what makes Top Shot special. And so can you watch clips on YouTube? Sure, you can watch clips on YouTube. But this is a much more cohesive way of like holding a few of your favorite moments from your favorite team, from your favorite seasons, etc., and just like, you know, swiping up and being able to look at them on your phone, just nice and easy. And if one day you want to sell or buy, or then you can do that too. And I think that's what makes Top Shot special, and what's what makes it unique and what makes it fun. And that's kind of what made me interested in it back in the beginning. So there's the speculative side, there's the collectible side. And the other thing that I always drone on about, Mike, is the fact that I really want to see them do some kind of physical card collab, even if it's with like that. What's that? Do you remember the name of that artist who did physical cards for like Patrick Ewing and Tom Brady? He's like a digital artist. He does custom cards. Damn, I thought you would know. I think his name is Tyson something. Maybe Tyson. Is Tyson Beck? Does that sound right? I don't know. But
I think that was a model. That was a male model.
Was it a male model? Okay, I'm getting my male model.
That's a male model, big guy.
All right. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so
I don't know what
he might be a male model. Why do I have the name Tyson Beck? Why does that name come up? No, I'm right, you schmuck. Oh man. Hold on, we got to air out Weisberg now. Let's male model. I can't believe I remembered it, and you called me out and said
Tyson Beckford. That's who it was.
Let's look at your search history. Let's look at your search history. So yeah,
names were similar-ish.
Yeah, I want to see your search history. Because I don't know who that guy is that you just mentioned, but I know who Tyson Beck is.
That dude was like a big star in the 90s.
Pause. Anyway, so anyway, as I was saying, Tyson Beck, artist, physical cards. He's not necessarily, there's not all this red tape around like a Topps or a Panini or something like that, like these other companies that probably want to do their own digital products. And then you could collab with somebody like this and literally make physical cards that physical collectors like. And then you could sort of do a mishmash of both sides. So Tyson Beck could do some kind of release, and there could be some kind of cool limited digital something or other that you can only access on Top Shot, or maybe it's not super hard to get. Maybe a lot of people can get it, and it opens up the Top Shot world to them as well, and vice versa. You could rip a physical card of Tyson Beck's, maybe it's autographed by a player, and you could get that on Top Shot. Like, those are the kind of things that I really want to see done to sort of push the envelope a little bit beyond digital packs. And I know that we've been teased that kind of stuff by Roham in the past. But we also know that we hear a lot of things and they don't always come to fruition. So I'd love to see that in particular come to fruition, where digital packs are more than just digital moments. And I think this would be like an awesome, awesome idea if it was possible. But of course, I have no clue what that red tape looks like. But yeah, those, I guess, like I said, there's a lot of ways to answer this question, Mike. Like, I think that Top Shot is sturdy, like it's stable, it's a good looking product. The biggest mishaps, in my opinion, if you have to choose a mishap, is probably just that speculators bought packs thinking they could resell and they couldn't. And because of those speculators, and people who actually wanted to hold on to those packs also kind of get hurt, because the speculators start rushing for the exits as well. It's like the same, it's like a microcosm of what happens in any free market.
So I guess my broader issue is that, like, nearly every product on Flow has failed. Like, basically. And like, my concern is like, I think there are improvements we can make on the product. Pinning stuff is great. They're like surface level things you can do. Certainly you can invest in marketing campaigns. That NHL Breakaway had an ad during the finals. I thought that was pretty dope, even though I'm not a big fan of Breakaway. Like, that's pretty awesome. So Rare had a pin thing in the NBA app. Like, they had an ad put the entire year in the NBA app. When have we seen any, like, Top Shot do that? They haven't really invested the marketing dollars because they don't feel the product is there. But like, if you don't have enough faith after 5 years and a ton of buzz, both positive and negative, on your product to advertise to national campaigns, why should we keep investing our money into your product?
I think that's a fair question. I think that we're seeing, I mean, I think it's getting closer in terms of the app and in terms of the game and that kind of thing. Like, it does feel like it's almost there. I don't know, like, what else is still
We've been
missing.
saying the almost there thing for like 3 years though.
So there's obviously some kind of a benefit then to being almost there. I don't know what is it.
I just look, at the end of the day, and we can just kind of, top off the Top Shot conversation this way. It's like, my core concern is that I don't know that they know how to handle the product well enough to actually launch it in a way that matters. And I really struggle with this executive team, that they're, whether it's Alan, Roham, like the entire team hasn't proven to us over the last 5 years that they know how to take this thing to the level that we all would love for it to be. Like, I think ultimately we're all fans of the brand. We all want to see the thing succeed, both monetarily and for our own collectability reasons, right? But I do think there's another side of it where we're like, well, I don't know that you can do that. Like, I'm not going as far as Jay Metz and saying they need to sell the thing. But I do think there is an element of, like, they need to figure out how to get their ship in order.
You mean their yacht? You just missed a perfect opportunity.
I missed the pun. Yes, I should have said.
Oh my God, the show's over, everybody.
Get their yacht in order. What DJ did they have for the yacht?
Diplo.
What was it? Oh, it was Diplo. Yeah. We'll grab Diplo. We'll get him on the yacht, and we'll launch it into the seas and see what happens. We'll get KD on there too. Hey, it's KD.
It's KD.
We'll grab every failed marketing campaign they've ever had and just go from there. But yeah, it's frustrating, honestly. Is kind of where I'm at with it, but we are where we are.
Yep. I think I can understand the frustration. I think we have a lot of ideas. We obviously want to see an even more sort of core ingrained integration into NBA and into NBA culture. And maybe there's someone missing on the team that has that sort of connection to the players or to the teams, like even more so than anything we've seen before. Who knows? But that's obviously something that we would all love to see. And there have been those marketing pushes, like you just mentioned, like the Kevin Durant ad. But who knows how effective those are? Who knows how effective it was for NHL Breakaway? Who knows how effective it was for So Rare? I don't know. I mean, So Rare spent a crap load of money on ads as well in the past with huge players in terms of what they were paying those guys too. And I mean, I think So Rare has probably also struggled quite a bit in similar ways that Top Shot has. The basketball
I think similar but different. The thing that I would say is the user engagement is probably about the same. They're averaging about 5 that, like, for the limited tournaments, meaning they're like lowest level of paid tournaments. They're getting between 5,000 to 7,000 people playing those.
Okay.
Now, do I think there are 5,000 to 7,000 active buyers regularly on the marketplace? No.
You probably looked that up.
I think it's probably closer to 3 for Top Shot. But it's all relative. It doesn't matter until you start getting, and mind you, the free game, usually they get like between 10 to 15,000 lineups. And I think that's the difference with where Top Shot is at. Like with Fast Break, how many, what did they get? Like 5,000 lineups?
I don't know off the top of my head.
They're getting between 3,000 to 5,000 lineups in Fast Break. And I think that shows you, for a free product, relatively speaking, that shows you where the level of engagement is with the product right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, we're early, Mike. We're always early. Anyway, Stan.
I've lost a ton of hair in the last 5 years. I'm not really feeling this early concept. We got
to
My
get
bank
Stan.
account doesn't feel it's early. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Well, you got to risk off a little bit. So we got to give Stan his handshake.
So how'd it go? I appreciate it. Yeah, man, that was awkward. Fist bump. Don't clip that. Don't clip that. Jeff didn't clip that. It's gonna go viral. Jesus Christ. No, I appreciate it. It was weird.
Every time I see myself now in that clip,
Now you're
it
so
makes me
psyched.
happier and happier.
Yeah, Matic is
I'm
early.
like, hey, that guy's walking around crook.
I don't know. I mean, listen, when 3,000 on the Top Shot side are playing or 5,000 on the So Rare side are playing, that has to make you think you're early. I mean, because that's just not a lot of people. Like, however you
or is that just kind of where the active user base is? Like,
maybe for right now, because digital collectibles are still kind of hard for the average person to get their head around, which is why we need some crossovers. Call male model Tyson Beck and get him to stop modeling and start making some more cool looking physical cars that sell out in an instant, and make some cool crossover marketing type of deals with Top Shot. That's what I think.
30 I am going to Vegas. Made the decision. My bank account is not happy about said decision, but I am making the business call. It's a really good opportunity to meet people. And for me, it's more of a business trip than it is just about, hanging out with friends. But yeah, I'll be there Wednesday through Monday, actually. Leaving early Monday morning. So
collect those receipts, Mike. You're gonna write off all those expenses. So we better.
Where am I writing those off to? Like with what business card? When you're underemployed, sir, it's
you're self-employed,
a little
right?
tough to do the. I'm just gonna put this on my corporate card. You don't have a corporate card. Fuck! I'm gonna put this on my credit card. Your limit's a little low. I'll put this on my debit card. No, I'm playing.
Do you take food stamps? What English Premier League?
I'm excited. It's gonna be a good time. I'm staying at the MGM Grand. For those that are going, should be a good time. Lot of live pods. I did notice they increased the cost of Summer League tickets by like $10. They're up to like $60 now. Yeah, Daniel Eastman. I don't know about English Premier League, but I know La Liga died a death. It's another Dapper product that died. UFC's basically dead, although they were sold and are no longer under Dapper, but they're utilizing Flow. I don't know, man. There's a lot of products out there that we've seen launched in the last 5 years that have not done as expected. Even NFL All Day, like All Day is kind of a mess in my opinion.
But that's why, and then we'll stop after this because it's getting late
You
here.
got kids.
But yeah, I got kids and such. But that's why we need like even more of a tie-in where you don't even know that you're collecting digital collectibles. And I thought that in day 0, when I first put my credit card into Dapper Labs and ripped a pack, that was the essence of that. I didn't know what the hell an NFT was, but I knew what ripping a pack was.
Right.
And that's what they were so good at and still have that in their DNA. But now I feel like it's just a matter of sort of threading the needle with the physical IRL side, even more so than what they've done. And you can apply that to any one of these projects, UFC, whatever. And even like UFC, I thought was doing a good job with that at some point in terms of like rewards for holders, but there still wasn't enough in terms of it just didn't feel ingrained enough into like the UFC fandom or like the UFC experience. And I think that it's like one and the same. It's like all these products have the same kind of issue where like the digital side just feels very foreign to the average consumer.
By the way, we'll close on this as the draft is ongoing. Bob Myers, former GM of the Warriors, was on ESPN in the last 15 minutes and said during the broadcast that Rich Paul is telling teams not to draft Bronny James and that if they do, he will go play in Australia.
What?
Yeah.
Don't draft him or he'll play in Australia? What, so they don't want him to get drafted?
No, they want him to go to the Lakers.
Oh, okay. So he's only allowed to play for the Lakers.
So they're trying to scare off teams or say he'll play in the NBL.
Okay. Well, Mike, we covered some bases today.
We did. We did the thing.
We did the thing, and everyone hates NFTs, says Alexo.
Yeah, so it says the guy who's made more money off NBA Top Shot than anybody. Fucking Alexo.
More. I think he may have made more money on CryptoKitties than anybody. There was like a 1 week span when all of a sudden historically relevant NFTs like the Origin NFTs became really popular, and I think Alexo sold like $500,000 of digital cats in like 24 hours or something.
Damn.
Something like that. I don't know, Alexa. You can correct us, but
yeah.
Problem is,
I'm just giving you shit, Alexa. Love you, bud. All right, later, Tandy. I know you want to close out
after that, but yeah. All right, Mike. Take care. Goodbye, Mike. There you go. I took Mike off the screen. All right, everybody. Well, go enjoy the USA presidential debate. Boston Base is going to enjoy it. I hope to be sleeping in 4 hours. I hope to not be awake to watch that, but I'll watch the replay tomorrow. Or maybe they'll make some moments. Remember the CNN product? They were doing CNN NFTs. That was a project that died. And guess what? It wasn't on Flow, and it's not Flow's fault or Dapper Labs' fault, as far as I know. So anyway, thanks for being here. Thank you, Matic. Thank you, By the Wine. Thank you, Top Shot, Hot Shot, and Alexo, and CNN NFTs rock, says Boston Based. He is still picking them up. He's still buying them on the secondary market. So I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, had some fun, and enjoy the rest of the NBA draft. Was it on Flow, Alexo? Oh, geez, was it? Okay. Hopefully it wasn't Dapper Labs' fault. Because that seems to be popular lately. Pointing the finger. Poor old Dapper Labs. Top Shot Hot Chat said, I still have some Obama and Trumps from the CNN drops. It is pretty funny. I was interested in buying those too, thinking that basically anything NFT was going to make me very rich. And that was not, that didn't turn out the way I thought. Timing is everything, everybody. Okay, listen, I think that's enough. Now I'm rambling. I hope you all have a pleasant rest of your day. Enjoy the debate and enjoy your weekends. We'll talk to each other again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Static Selector.